Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. We got literally almost 2,200 audios available for your listening pleasure. This is the Wrestling Challenge Series for the 1st of December, 1991. And, not bad anyway. Jack Tunney basically tells us that the Tuesday in Texas, the title has been held up to the actions of both men. Also lets us know that in fact he has decided that both men get to choose from between numbers 20 and 30 at the 1992 Royal Rumble, where the championship will be decided. First time, I think the only time the championship has ever been decided in that environment. And then Randy Savage against Jank Roberts would take place at the first possible date, the Tuesday in Texas, which would air on pay-per-view, including comments from the world champion, The Undertaker, and Paul Bearer. Actually, they had not yet kind of gone through this. The Tuesday is there, and that is hyping the upcoming match with Hulk Hogan. Also, there's talk with Jake Robertson, including the match Tuesday in Texas, including a promo from Davey O'Bray Smith regarding the latest issue of the World Bodybuilding Federation magazine, featuring closing comments from Hulk Hogan regarding his title match and title shot against The Undertaker at Tuesday in Texas. Hogan vowing to get the championship back, as one would expect. The Berserker, with Mr. Fuji defeating Ross Greenberg 255 via countout, after throwing Greenberg over the top rope and to the arena floor. Not a big surprise there by any stretch of the imagination, knowing who the Berserker, aka John Nord, is in this particular character. Anyhow, Berserker, punch, kick, front into the fall forward slam. Mr. Fuji calling from the action on the outside. Greenberg gets tied up in the ropes pretty aggressively, and the toss over the top rope into the floor. A very unique finish, and the man who is the art of the Huss, otherwise known as the Berserker, is happy with his run here. IRS again threatening to eradicate the big boss man from the World Wrestling Federation because of his issues. Bret Hart, also as your Intercontinental Champion, basically talks about the Mountie trying to kill him, and how he'd get even with him in Boston on, I believe, the December 14th. We go to the New Foundation, Jim Neidhart and Owen Hart, wearing checkered pants and checkered jackets. Not exactly exciting to look at by any stretch of the imagination. Neidhart and Hart, though, are family members, thus maybe, giving kind of the reason for them to be teamed up. I don't know. Anyway, some backward step for Owen Hart. Dwayne Gill and Barry Horowitz providing the opposition. Rocket launcher for Owen Hart against pinning Gill. Gill and Horowitz at the time, two of the better enhancement talents in the area, and, Owen Hart could certainly use the extra enhancement after the Blue Blazer run, and then going back to both Canada and Germany. Obviously, Neidhart hitting the power slam and kind of cinching his man up. But again, the rocket launcher trying to get extra attention on the nature of things. Paul Bearer cuts a promo on behalf of The Undertaker. Doesn't know for the death of him why they're waiting so long to bury Hulk Hogan, but they're waiting until that Tuesday in Texas. Tuesday pay-per-view, kind of trying to get attention there. Highlights from the Survivor Series showdown or something such, where the Repo Man repossessed the $1 million belt from Virgil, and Virgil gets pinned in the middle of the ring, and Ted DiBiase regains the $1 million belt. Basically doing away with the belt soon thereafter. Virgil, though, in an enhancement match. Too much Virgil on one show. Actually, a German suplex that the enhancement talent forgets to sell, and then a atomic drop by Virgil on the enhancement talent. Virgil then clotheslines the guy over the top rope into the floor. Virgil also dives to the outside, which tope-style dive for the time. Pretty big deal. And Virgil goes right after his adversary pretty intently there. We move, and just so everybody knows, the enhancement talent in that particular match is Brian Donahue. And at this point, Virgil's still using the $1,000,000 Dream. And just around 3 minutes, and during the bout, Tito Santana cuts an insert promo about teaming with Virgil at Tuesday in Texas to face Ted DiBiase and the Repo Man on the heels of DiBiase stealing the $1,000,000 belt back from Virgil. So I mean, these enhancement talent matches are not exactly worth writing home about, but every match has some interlink with an angle that's going on either at the house shows or on upcoming larger television shows. Also, a spinning neck breaker, not enough to get things going. Anyway, Skinner is going to face Virgil at the upcoming house shows, and Virgil is basically saying that a alligator can only roll side to side. Virgil can stick and move. Basically, that is Virgil's strategy, I guess, against Skinner, his stick and move. Not necessarily sure that's the best strategy, but it is certainly a strategy. Then we move to the run-in of Sergeant Slaughter beating up a couple of enhancement talents. The Nasty Boys are beating up a couple of enhancement talents, and Slaughter cleans house, or actually this is the highlights of Jim Duggan and Slaughter from the previous week. The only reason I thought it was enhancement talents is because there are and have been several times when enhancement talents and the Nasty Boys do get into it pretty aggressively. Anyway, Colonel Mustafa, aka the Iron Sheik, returning in his 1991 brief run that runs into Survivor Series 92, something like that. Anyway, but Colonel Mustafa with General Adnan defeating Al Phillips, Camel Clutch 219, punches, kicks, and basic stuff by the Sheik, and it is very clear the Iron Sheik at this juncture is losing mobility, to say the very least. Clotheslines by the Iron Sheik, and the Iron Sheik less than happy with what has gone on here. Jake Roberts promising to assault Elizabeth, basically, indirectly, wearing the black glove, but basically saying if Randy Savage brings brings Elizabeth to ringside at the Tuesday in Texas, he will regret that decision. Bret Hart, your Intercontinental Champion, in an enhancement match here. Hart catches the foot of his adversary, stomps him to the midsection, Russian leg sweep, and the elbow from the second rope on the inside, and the sharpshooter gets a victory for Bret Hart. Hart defeating in that particular area Chris Duffy. Duffy gets beat with the sharpshooter 251 during the bout. It's announced that Hart would defend the Intercontinental Championship at Tuesday in Texas against the Barbarian. I think that later becomes Skinner, if I remember correctly. But anyhow, that changed before the day of the pay-per-view. Then we go to the Natural Disasters with Jimmy Hart defeating Jason Heading and Mario Mancini 325 when Earthquake pins Heading with a sit-down splash during the bout. Jameson is shown in the crowd. Jameson, of course, becoming the Jameson Winger becoming the manager of or quasi-manager of the Bushwhackers in their feud with the Beverly Brothers going into early 1992, especially and most notably at the local area promos. Again, Sergeant Slaughter is promoting his upcoming boot camp match in a couple of weeks with what originally in one promo is called just Colonel Mustafa, and then later in the, I believe next week, I think it's the second week in December, is then called a handicap match with General Adnan added in. So maybe they added that to stipulation, try and sell extra runs there. But anyway, Typhoon and the Earthquake are a solid tag team coming off a couple of months ago their heel turn on the Bushwhackers. Inverted backbreaker for Typhoon. Big splash in the corner, and Earthquake does the vertical splash, horizontal splash by Typhoon and the Natural Disasters, who later become tag team champions in the next few months here, are very happy with their dominance. We're going to go forward. We'll be back with more right after this.